All right, welcome back. Dr. Charles Carver with Rockingham Gastroenterology Associates is here with us talking about stomach issues and specifically IBS. All right, so with IBS, let's talk about how important is diet when it comes to the symptoms?
Another great question. For all our IBS patients, we kind of take an integrated approach as far as treatment goes. What I mean by that is not just medications to get your bowels moving or slowing them down, but also concentrating on diet, nutrition. Extremely important in our IBS population. We've trialed a couple of different diets throughout the years. The one that typically that's been shown to have the most traction or the best data as far as treating IBS is what we call a low FODMAP diet. FODMAP, all one word. Quick Google search for all your viewers. And it's basically 5 sugars that we have identified in certain foods that can increase fermentation or bloating of the stomach and can trigger IBS symptoms. So by avoiding those types of foods and maybe introducing some of the other types of foods can actually help with that. I do print out FODMAP diets for all my patients with IBS, and I've had some pretty good success with some of them.
All right, so are we going to talk about that, the foods to avoid then and the foods to include?
Well, there's a lot.
Okay.
That's why I mentioned the Google search, because there's too many probably to talk about right now. And those are good things to look at. At the end of the day, we are all kind of unique, and our gut is no different. So what may be a trigger for me may not necessarily be a trigger for you. So I recommend all my patients to do a food journal and write down their meals. And when they have a bad day of IBS, oh my gosh, my symptoms are out of control, they can refer, well, what did I eat? And they can start to kind of pinpoint maybe what triggers their symptoms, their systems in gut more so than just kind of following a standard diet, because we're not all created equal from a gut perspective. We're all very different. Fiber is extremely important. Part of my treatment for all my IBSers, recommend 25 to 35 grams of soluble fiber. If
Give me an example of that.
Yeah, if you can get through your diet, great. Those types of foods would be like black beans, lima beans, avocados, things like that. Great insoluble fiber. And if they can't quite get that 25 to 35 grams, then there are over-the-counter. I recommend Benefiber, but Metamucil is also good. And then, yeah, so fiber very important as far as treatment of IBS. As far as things to avoid, dairy seems to be a common trigger for a lot of my IBS patients, so I do trial them off dairy. Gluten sensitivity is real hot topic right now, and I test all my patients for celiac disease or gluten intolerance as part of their initial workup, but that may be a trigger for some patients. And then foods high in fat, those also are all kind of continue to contribute to IBS type stuff.
Okay, now what about like beverages? Because I think to myself, is coffee one of those that's on the don't list?
I'm probably going to upset a lot of people with this next, with the beverages do's and don'ts. Caffeine, definitely a trigger. And as someone who drinks a cup or two of coffee every day, that's not the best news. Carbonated beverages, certainly a trigger for IBS type stuff. And then alcohol we found. So I recommend limiting alcohol, do everything in moderation. Be good 80% of the time, 20% of the time, have your cup of coffee. I don't always practice what I preach because I don't know if I could get throughout the whole day without my cup of coffee. So
we understand. All right. What about exercise? Because it can be really hard to deal with exercise when you're also dealing with stomach issues.
Absolutely. And again, part of that integrated approach, kind of hitting IBS from all different angles. Exercise, extremely important, not only for your gut health, but for your overall health, for any other common conditions, high blood pressure, diabetes, all these things. Anxiety, depression, all these things. Exercise is just so good for the body. I recommend 30 minutes of moderate intensity exercise, at least 5 days a week for all my patients. What do I mean by moderate intensity? Meaning getting the heart rate up, breathing a little heavy. I don't want my patients to overdo it, where the fact that they're soaked in sweat, they're breathing, feel like they're going to pass out. That's not the goal. We just want 30 minutes of getting outside and getting moving a little bit.
Okay, getting that heart rate up to
there you go.
Get everything moving, all of that at the same time. All right, thank you so much for your time and your expertise. We want to make sure that if you missed any part of this, all you have to do is head to WFNYnews2.com, click in the To Your Wellbeing section.